Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday morning trading room. Bear with me here just a moment while I get the screen share going. Come on. Here we are. All right, so yesterday, as we suspected, a little bit of a sideways kind of trading day. Remained that way for the rest of the session. Just a lot of back and forth, back and forth. Had a few opportunities on the faster tools like the Hawk, even a couple of Raptor and Falcon trades. Not so much otherwise. It was really just a sideways session. I suspect today it will be more of the same. Especially given that I believe we have a report out today. Yes, the FOMC minutes out at 11 a.m. Central, or pardon me, East, Pacific, and that would be 2 p.m. Eastern. So that's probably going to put the nix on any significant moves here this morning. But we shall see. Opening with a slight gap to the upside. You can see here the market ran up a little bit in the overnight. We're now working a possible rule of 3 signal here on the Eagle, where we've had something resembling a trend, and now we get, we've produced 2 counter trend signals, a very, very modest retest of the extreme. And we have a market that's searching for direction. All right, here comes that rule of 3 signal. You can see the warning dot is starting to fill. This is where the signal is going to print for another tick or two. I can take it below these recent lows. Now, quite honestly, if it fills the tick, it's probably going to go low enough to break the lows, so I should just take it on the hash mark. If it backs up a little bit, I'll adjust my trade. And this is pretty early for me. Actually, I guess we're about 5-6 minutes into the session already. All right, so you can see they filled us on the hash mark. They would have filled me below the lows. This is a little bit of a reaction now to the breaking of the support, which is to be anticipated. And I guess you could also, well, I don't know if you want to call this our first in sync signal of the day. Just making a couple notes here in my trading journal about the trade. And I do believe we had follow-up signals here. We should have follow-up signals on the other tools. Here's the first micro-macro cross lower. Here's a Falcon trend change signal. And then here we have, well, actually the Raptor not really producing a signal just yet. We're going to produce a cloud crossover signal here in the Raptor. Come on, just give me one more bar. There you go. Come on. And I might even roll my break even here at the halfway point. If that bar finishes on the low, then go ahead, take me to break even. There we are. And hooray! Oh, that was a nice little start to the morning. We've hit the high probability profit objective, so we could see a little bit of a reaction here now. As we kind of get back into the thick of yesterday's trading, but that was certainly a nice way to start the day. And seeing how I took a couple of contracts on that position, my day is done. Thanks for coming out. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. We could see the NQ slip a little bit lower from here. Oops, I guess I can bring up the other charts again. Okay, here comes a little bit of a reaction. Like I said, we've managed to find the high probability profit target. The market giving us a little bit of a reaction higher. It's also going to complete our cloud crossover signal here in the Raptor, where the clouds have now crossed. We're getting that little bit of a pullback, and if the downtrend is going to continue, we should see the market resume the downtrend after it finds the hard edge. Yeah, Ryman's right. We filled the gap right out of the gate. Well, we're sort of on hold here again. A lot of this yesterday, just sitting and waiting. All right, so here they go. They're starting to slip a little bit lower. Going to get maybe a late filter entry signal here on the Falcon. We've got a macro pullback and a pseudo 4-arrow consolidation here in the Hawk. And what I would be looking for now on the Raptor is also a continuation of sorts, namely that number 1 signal to print. We don't have a warning dot yet. I might get one more press lower here. Come on. All right, so the late filter entry spoiled now on the Falcon. We do have a 4-arrow consolidation now on the Hawk. And where's that signal on the Raptor? You stinkers. I guess all the parameters have not been met for a trade signal to generate. There it is. I knew if I looked away, I would get it. Oh, freaking running away on me now. Well, you could just hop in with a sell order. Stop should probably go a little bit higher because, again, there's going to be a reaction here as we break the low of the morning. I would have much preferred getting a little bit of an earlier entry just to give myself some management options. Maybe even get out of the trade before we hit the median line. But sometimes you just got to hop in. Take what you can get. So where do we go from here? Well, the median line, 59.08, and then after that we're down to the primary support at 58.95 3/4, essentially 58.96. That would be a very good target. That would be a very solid move. All right, so here come the sellers again. We get that little bit of a swing, a lower swing. Come on, take out the low. Here we go. There we go. Okay, just about to hit the break even. All right, got break even. Don't flinch yet. That was painful. All right, well, let's put that back on the shelf for now. Unfortunately, got stuck in that little hiccup. And just making a couple notes here in my trading journal. I bet if I had gotten my entry where I wanted it, I would have hit at least my high probability profit objective before we saw this reverse. Oh, look at that. Kissed it right on the number. A little bit of a blowback from the buyers now. And now we're showing up with a counter trend signal here on the Raptor. Actually, that's the first to give us the counter trend signal. We do have a green bar sell warning dot here on the Hawk. Our initial target is the hard edge. And you can see there's probably enough in there for a scalp, but not too much more at the moment. But we'll probably slip at least a few ticks higher from here. All right, we've got a green bar sell here on the Hawk. If you were looking for a short-term scalp, you could set up to short, and you get a second push entry opportunity as well. Stops, that's a little bit cozy, maybe a little bit higher, maybe to the crest here in the macro line. The market's kind of slow. I don't know if I want to go in for the full 2% risk amount. But we're only looking for 10 ticks, So there's a very good chance the market will fall off here and find that profit target. No, nothing else going on here at the moment. I thought maybe we'll get a hard edge bounce signal here on the Raptor. For you Raptor traders, that's what you're going to be on the lookout for next. Let's go back to the action on the Hawk. A little bit of a concern is that we've broken this itty-bitty swing high here. They're trying to tick lower. There we go. There was a lower tick. A little bit of a flinch. And, ooh, I almost thought they were going to fill me there. Still no hard edge bounce signal on the Raptor. All right, so we got filled now on the green bar sell. And they are trying this whole 59.10, 59.11 area has been very sticky. It's going to be something that you want to pay attention to. And hooray for us. Quick little move lower. It's the kind of day I think you're going to be in scalp mode a lot today. Just looking for those quick little targets. And now you Raptor owners get the same opportunity here. We're getting that hard edge sell, and again, it's a couple of ticks later than the hawk, but remember the hawk is a tool that's been specifically designed for scalping purposes. If you're going to take this signal, given the nature of the market today, a second push entry is never a bad idea. Unless you're really, really confident about the signal, second push entry is a great way to keep yourself on the right side of the trading equation. And I would probably consider adjusting my profit objective or being a little bit faster with my break even. I do believe the market will get down here to 5,900. Where are you? Down there, 5,900. And maybe even the primary support line. But, you know, it's that kind of day where it's just bouncing all around. You could probably run a tighter stop than this as well. Certainly if the market breaks the highs here at 59.16, 59.17, it will probably reverse and hit 59.23. So you probably don't need to put that much at risk, especially if you wanted to go in with a single contract. Just go into manual mode and we'll get the second push entry and we'll risk it, say, here to 59.19 half. So for around $200, you can get a trade going here. And now we're getting a bit of a bull push. Yep, thanks, Francisco. Francisco reminding us the FOMC meeting at 2 p.m. Eastern today. And it does seem to be weighing on the market a little bit. Oh, we may come back now and produce yet another number 2 signal. Now that one might be worth a buy. Number 2 signals that follow a number 3 signal tend to have a better follow through. Because you've seen a market that makes a deep retrace, it gets into the hard edge of the trading band, it tries to resume the trend and then fails, then it's usually going to try to go the other direction at least a couple of ticks. So no number 2 signal yet. We'll stay with the short trade a little bit longer. Okay. So we've seen another test of the extreme. There's the number 2 signal now to the upside. So you should risk it like this. You could even, you know, take it above the high. Just looking for a couple of ticks here. This, I may bring my break even up some. Come on. And the seller's now trying to recover the downtrend. They're pressing hard. Like I said, this whole 59.10, 59.11, 59.12 region, something to pay attention to over the next couple of days. Definitely seems to be an influential price level. And here's the problem with counter-trend signals. We've got a double pullback signal now. As the buyers try to fight the market back up. All right, last chance for the buyers. If they lose their grip, then prices will head lower. Ooh, what a struggle going on this bar. It tries to tick higher, it gets slapped back so that it's lower. This is quite the fight we've got going on here. All right, here come the buyers again, and I think I might get a little bit, you know, like I said, just look for a scalp target out of this. They're working pretty hard here to try to get higher. And once this trade ends, Steve says, can you go to your properties and change your font size and even the color? As your buy signal is brown, it does not show well against the black. I can make those changes. Come on, get up there. Here, we'll give you a little push with the mouse. Get going. Come on, there you go. Just a little higher. All right, back to our entry, and there we go. Come on. So with the with the logic counter, I can see the high of this bar is going to be 59.17 3/4. I will make that my break even. Come on. All right, next bullish push, I'm going to take the break even stop. There it is. No looking back now. You've got to go higher. Come on, you can do it. For a second there, I wasn't sure they were going to give it to me. And it's, like I said, it's just that kind of day where you may well be better off with shorter profit objectives. Okay, here I will show you how you can change your settings on your trade manager. If you're having difficulty seeing the settings, go here to your strategies window. And if your trade manager is already displayed, you can't make any changes to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it off, the Enable tab right here. Now I can make changes to my trade manager. So let's see here, order entry price. What I'll do is I will make it a little bit darker, less opaque, or pardon me, more opaque. Highlight order color, we'll make that a little darker. Break even. Your font size is, did I pass the font size right here? Font size, all right, I've already got mine set at 14, so that's pretty big. I also like mine to align on the right. I think the default is left. That's just my personal preference. All right, so now when you've made all these changes, do yourself the favor and save your template. Go and save it. I've already got a template that I can choose from. You need to remember to turn your trade manager back on. And now the numbers should be darker. Is that better, Steve? Can you guys see that a little better? Maybe. Yeah, my font is already 14, Steve. It's bigger than 12. My font's already larger. All right. Okay, if that works, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the appropriate changes here in the other ones. So I'm going to turn that off. And we don't have a trade going on right now anyhow. Probably be a 15-20 minutes before we get another opportunity. So now when I load a new hawk chart, these changes will all be automatic when I load the template. The important thing to remember with Trade Manager is before you make any changes, you just need to turn everything off. Okay. Pretty good day today, given the sideways nature of the market. You can see here on this counter trend signal that we took, had I tried for the full profit objective, you can just see how the market is struggling. And again, if you know the market's going to be slower, or you think the market's going to be slower, I guess you never really know, but if you think the market's going to be slower, then go ahead, just scalp. Just take your scalper's profit. If that isn't enough for you, then try to trade 2 contracts rather than try to make the market go further. It's very difficult to make the market do anything, unless of course you have the magic mouse, and then you can manipulate the market. However, I don't like to do that too often. It should only be used for good. Steve, you don't believe me. What properties are you looking for here? The label font? You want the numbers in the margins to be bigger? Is that it? Oh, why don't you just sit closer to your monitor? There, how's that? You like that better? Steve says I'm wearing glasses. Oh, all right, here we go. Oh, you must have had a really hard time with the Raptor. It was only an 8-point font. I guess I'd better save those changes. Hold on, I got a couple more charts to do. Okay, everything's changed. everything's changed and saved, so it should be just the way you like it. Oh, forgot all about crude inventory report. It was a little bit of a nothing burger, as they say, a little bit of an uptick off of this very early cloud crossover signal. Otherwise, if you wanted to trade or bracket the market post report, you could buy above this swing high. You could enter below the low of the day, which looks to be around 47.76. And there you go, you could be short right now. But not really much going on in crude here at the moment. All the action here on the NASDAQ. Oh, it looks like the number 2 signal, the soft edge buy, did follow through enough to hit its profit objective. So look at that. I guess maybe I panicked for nothing. Well, panic's a strong word, but you'll find that if you have a reason for doing something, for exiting your position, you'll end up doing better than just trading by the seat of your pants, shooting from the hip and all that. Because the market will do things to try to fool you, to try to fake you out. One of the easiest ways the market fools traders into getting into the wrong side of a position is they'll allow false breakouts, but they'll also allow quick moves. You'll see the market make some really quick moves, like all of a sudden it'll go bar, bar, bar. It'll just be printing these bars like within a matter of seconds, just long enough for everybody to reach over and hit their buy market button. And then, of course, what happens? Boom, down they go. I suppose you could call it market manipulation, although no one person is really messing the market about that way. It's just the nature of the market. It is the nature of the market to try to confuse you. Just like a magician gets you looking one way when he's doing something else with a, behind his back or with the other hand. The market is not unlike that. Things are starting to look a little bit more bullish again. We got a first micro macro cross here. We got a trend change signal, as well as a late filter entry signal here on the Falcon. The Raptor following up now with a possible early cloud crossover signal. I call this the early cloud crossover because the clouds have not fully crossed yet. However, the majority of the cloud has crossed, and we've had that little bit of a pullback phase. So we've got ourselves a warning dot, but no buy signal at the moment. Oh, there it is. There's the early cloud crossover signal. I'll just simulate this one for you. And I would probably try to cover it below the low here if I could afford it. It's just an initial stop, right? I can always adjust my stop if the market starts to move against me. And given that this is the early cloud crossover and we haven't seen the proper number one signal yet, we might anticipate a bigger pullback, which is another reason for keeping your stop a little bit further. Could be some serious selling going on as we get back toward the high of the day. So if you are in this trade, you might want to consider maybe taking profit a little bit earlier in anticipation of some potentially aggressive selling at the highs, near the highs. And they're pushing. So your auto break even probably near the high of this bar. So if this bar finishes on the high, you'll probably hit your auto break even. If you're not running an auto break even, You might want to consider bringing your stops up at least below the swing low right here. And here now that little bit of a reaction toward the highs of the day. So, 59.29, pardon me, 59.28 might have been a good place to take profit as well, as the market making a rather large double top or rounded bottom, however you want to see this formation. Okay, the cloud's now almost fully crossed, as I mentioned. There's normally a pullback that precedes a number one signal. So that is what we might witness here with the proper number one signal still due to set up. Well, we're still holding right here near the highs. There we go. Actually, a fairly strong push through the high. And the reason that jumped the way it did is there were all these sell orders stacked right here. And they just got taken out. See here? The Geiger counter would have pulled hard over, and just look at how the buyers steamrollered the sellers. That had better follow through than I anticipated. Okay, unfortunately now, because the market has moved so far, we're going to produce a number one signal very close toward the end of the trend. This is why it's important to recognize the signals apart from their prompts. Now, I realize if you're new to the Raptor, you're going to rely more on the signal prompts for your signals, and that's fine. But you also need to understand what's behind the signal, how the signal forms, so that when you do get an early number one signal, even though all the Raptor criteria haven't been met as far as the programming is concerned, you can still look at it visually and say, hey, that's a number one signal. Maybe I should try to take that trade. The problem with the number one signal that's going to form up here is it's, and I'm just pretending that's where the hash mark is going to produce, is where do I cover this trade now, right? It's going to be impossible to cover it down here, which is actually where the swing low is at. That's the ideal stop placement. Anything less than that is going to put you within the current market range. I suppose you could cover it to the hard edge of the trading band and just kind of keep your fingers crossed that the market doesn't reach back that far. Likewise, you could use the primary resistance line, cover below there. But, you know, the further the signal is down the line, the more difficult it will be to actually cover the trade. So sometimes it's to your advantage to get in a little bit earlier. Okay, so after that little flurry of excitement, it seems like we're on hold again. Well, we're kind of nearing the lunch hour as well, so it's probably going to hit the skids, especially given the FOMC report out in, I guess, about 3 hours, a couple 3 hours time. Are we going to get another signal here? I don't think so. I was waiting for that number one signal to form so that I could show you, but it's not going to, not right now. We're going to get a bigger pullback here. It may actually develop into, well, a number one signal may even develop into a hard edge bounce. The trend is up, so I think it's advisable to stick to buy signals and not try to get too cute on the short side. But like I said, things kind of hitting the sideways skid, probably in anticipation of the FOMC minutes. So, boys and girls, I think we're going to button up shop here. Ryman's asking, Eric, has your decision been made yet on writing a manual or a video on the Raptor 2? I think we're going to go for the video first. And then if that doesn't meet everyone's needs, then we'll look at a written version. That's the plan. And you can always share your opinion and input with Adam. He loves to hear from you. Honestly, he does. I'm not just saying that to be a wise guy. Yeah, he very much respects your opinions and anything that you have to share about the systems or what you would like to see in the offering. And yeah, they're really, really flat here now. We're going to get a little bit of a pullback. So if you're the daring type, you can try to short back to the hard edge, but it may take a little while for a signal to develop unless you just wanted to hop in below the low of one of these bars. But that's a little crazy. Okay, gang, I will see you again tomorrow morning. We'll talk to you then. Bye for now.